Hey there, this is the first episode of Lee's Listening, and I had already forgot to say something during the episode, so I've inserted this at the beginning to let you know that in the episode description, there are links to the albums that I mention, all the albums that I talk about throughout this episode. So, there you go. Hope you enjoy. Hey there, this is Lee, and you are listening to the first episode of the Lee's Listening podcast. I've been wanting to do this for years and finally said, screw it, let's do it. Essentially, I listen to a lot of music and keep up with new album releases weekly. This show will include episodes like this, where I simply report on what I've been listening to the past couple weeks, album reviews, which will be primarily new releases. Various music rankings and fun lists I'll do, as well as I'll talk a little bit about stand-up comedy specials, as I'm a big fan of stand-up comedy. I also want to hear what people like out there and get some recommendations. I want to do episodes where I just cover what people have recommended me and talk about what I liked and what I didn't like. So those will be some episodes as well. And so I listen to such a wide variety, a wide range of genres that I hope I can provide some recommendations to people inside and outside of their current favorite genres. So, all right, let's get into it. Here's what Lee has been listening to. And let's start with in the realm of indie rock. I've been loving the new Waxahatchee album, Tiger's Blood. I can't stop playing it. Waxahatchee is kind of folky indie rock band. The singer-songwriter behind the band is Katie Crutchfield, who delivers beautiful and raw vocals with gorgeous harmonies and great lyrics. The instrumentation doesn't blow me away, but it fits the music and has enough there. Beautiful sound. It's a chill album and nice listen, especially in the morning or during dinner. So again, that's Waxahatchee's album, Tiger's Blood. Been loving that. Another album that fits the chill indie rock vibe is the new Real Estate album, Daniel. I've honestly had it in the background just hanging around the house all the time. I love everything that Real Estate puts out. They stick with their sound. They don't deviate too much from it, but it works. It's the calming vocals, cool, clean electric guitar riffs. It always works for me. I think this is a great album. That's Real Estate with the album Daniel. I've also been listening to the new Ducks Ltd album, Harm's Way, which is a catchy little more poppy, upbeat indie rock album than the previous ones I mentioned. They hooked me with their last album, Modern Fiction, and they did it again on this one. Yeah, Ducks Ltd with Harm's Way is awesome. As for something I listened to that I was kind of disappointed with, I listened to the new Laura Jane Grace album, who is the singer of the early 2000s punk band Against Me, who I love, especially their album Reinventing Axl Rose, such raw and rough punk music with edgy, conscious lyrics. Check that one out. I've seen them live. They're great. But this new soul album didn't do it for me. The first half was like almost rockabilly and pretty corny. I did like the second half more, where she went into some acoustic folk punk songs, which were sprinkled into Against Me's albums as well. So I like that stuff. So I did like those more, but might return to those tracks. But as far as returning to the new this full album, probably won't. That's Laura Jane Grace's album. I don't even know what it's called, to be honest, because I didn't like it that much. While we're on a rock thing too, man, I've been playing the hell out of Knocked Loose when I get out of work. You'll probably think I'm crazy if you put that album on. I don't listen to a lot of metal stuff, but this new Knocked Loose album, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It's great. I can't stop listening to it. All right, I'm going to go into the realm of hip hop. And before I say this, I will say that I have listened to the new Tyler, the Creator, and I've listened to the new Ab-Soul, and I kind of want to do that as a separate review, possibly with a guest. So look forward to that. I'll just say, first off, right now, Freddie Gibbs is on repeat. I mean, I love everything Freddie Gibbs puts out, but this album is just solid. He kind of gives you a little bit of everything, even funny skits. And yeah, I mean, he's just rapping his ass off, and the flow is impeccable. It's so good. So I've also been playing the hell out of the new Common and Pete Rock album, the Auditorium Volume 1. It's been playing in my house on repeat. I love the soulful soul sample beats from Pete Rock. The beats are made for me. They are my favorite kind of hip-hop beats. And Common is as eloquent as ever, introspective as always. The title indicates this is only Volume 1, so I am excited and here for more to come out. Yeah, Common and Pete Rock's album, Auditorium Volume 1, amazing. Another rapper-producer release from one of the best pairings that I know of. Rapper Blue and producer Exile released Love, the Ominous World, and it is awesome. Conceptual writing from Blue and awesome soulful beats from Exile. These guys don't miss. They put out my favorite album of 2020, which is called Miles. Spoiler, for that list, I am probably going to make a list of my favorite 2020 albums, as well as 2021, 2022, etc. But yeah, Miles, that album's incredible, and they did it again. So check out Miles if you like this new one, or check out both. I gotta say, Blue is probably the most underrated rapper I can think of right now. He is so good and so prolific with his writing. His verses have storytelling, and he can stick with the same topic through a whole song. A lot of rappers just say a bunch of random shit in their songs, and Blue is able to consistently stay on a topic, and I just think that that's really special, especially these days. Blue's pen game is just so strong. I mean, he has released 5 albums with different producers in just this past year. So go check out Blue. I mean, this guy's incredible. And this new album, Love, the Ominous World with Exile, is amazing as well. They did it again. So far, they haven't missed together. Below the Heavens, Miles. There's another one that I'm blanking on. But this new one is great, too. Continuing with hip-hop, by the way. This new young guy, MAVI, his new album, Shadowbox, is an introspective and somewhat dark album that has great catchy parts to it and awesome rhyme schemes in his verses. I have played Shadowbox a bunch and went back to his album, Laughing So Hard It Hurts, which is a chill, sunnier vibe with insane rhyme schemes and rapping again. I mean, the guy's rapping is great on all of this. But the new album is kind of a little darker, sadder. But this guy is incredible and needs to take off here soon. People need to know about this guy. So if you're into hip hop, please check this out. While I'm on the topic of hip hop, as I'm recording this actually today, my college buddy Duke, I call him Duke, I played bass for him in his backing band in college, and it was some of the most fun I've ever had playing music. He is now based out of Atlanta and goes by Bunduke, which is his real South Sudanese name. The dude is an incredible rapper who touches on important social issues and can freestyle like no other. First off, I urge you to check out his music, but I also got some crazy news from him that he is going to be on the new season of the Netflix show Rhythm and Flow. He's even in the trailer, which blew my mind to see. Absolutely incredible to see that. This person that I know just going to be on this Netflix special. Rhythm and Flow is kind of like an American Idol style show, but for rappers instead of singers. And this will be the second season. So I just got to give out a shout out to my brother Duke for all his hard work and determination, and for being such a great guy in general and phenomenal artist. He's also, for the most part, clean rapper. So, play him around your kids. He talks about good stuff, about being a good person, and he's the right person to hear from on that, because he really is a fantastic person. All right, so moving onto a personal level. These albums that I'm about to talk about have been my favorite right now. My son was born 7 weeks ago now. And the morning after he was born, the album Leon by Leon Bridges came out. And I don't think that they're could be a more perfect album to play while holding my newborn son. It is a gorgeous album with love and soul. Absolutely amazing. I've loved Leon Bridges for years, and he did it again with what honestly might be my favorite album he's ever put out. I don't know. I don't know if it's just a timing thing, but I love this album so much. Leon by Leon Bridges, amazing. Also on the morning after my child was born, a similarly perfect album to just play, while you're trying to chill with a baby, is by Yasmin Williams. This is called Acadia. Yasmin Williams is an acoustic guitarist who puts out instrumental music. I loved her last album, Urban Driftwood, and this new album, I think it's even better. It is beautiful, and again, the timing of sitting in the hospital holding my son, it just couldn't have been better. It was such a special moment. These two albums will forever be special for me, as I had them both on repeat for the whole day. So yeah, that's Yasmin Williams with Acadia and Leon by Leon Bridges. Similar vibe. I've been enjoying Norah Jones' new album, Visions. She's back. I mean, I thought this was great. When I was a child, I made fun of my parents for liking her and would call her Snorah Jones because I just thought the music was boring. But as soon as I reached teenage years, I started to get it and loved her ever since. This new album is beautiful, and her lyrics touch on deeper and darker topics of getting older and mortality and such, which is cool to hear because a lot of her early stuff was love songs, heartbreak songs, stuff like that. So I like the approach she took with this album. I've been playing it around the house a bunch. Also, the new Andrew Bird collaboration album with Madison Cunningham. I have been an Andrew Bird fan since his album Are You Serious, which came out in 2016, and have listened and liked everything he has put out since as well. Probably my favorite of his being an album titled My Finest Work Yet, coincidentally. That's a great album. Check that one out. He is a singer-songwriter and violinist who also uses the violin as a sort of guitar, picking it and creating a unique sound with that. He's also probably the best whistler I've ever heard. That sounds weird, but if you hear him whistle, it's actually incredible. So yeah, this is Andrew Bird, and he's paired up with Madison Cunningham. The two of them have put together some lovely songs with wonderful harmonies, of course, with Andrew Bird's quintessential violin playing and picking. I thought this was a really nice listen, especially on a Sunday morning. Some of the songs are covers, which is kind of interesting. Yeah. If you continue to listen to this podcast, which I hope you do, even though this is the first episode, it's going to get better. It's going to get better. If you continue to listen to this podcast, you'll notice that I'm not the biggest electronic music guy, but I do like certain types of more electronic music, and I got into some of those albums recently. My cousin-in-law, Andrew, shout out to Andrew, put me onto this album by Goth Babe called Lola that I really enjoyed. So I usually don't enjoy the more poppy style of vocals that Goth Babe kind of offers, but I found myself really vibing to this album. I've been putting it on all the time. Definitely a good listen. That's Lola by Goth Babe. Again, shout out to my cousin Andrew. He's got more recommendations. He'll appear in the recommendations episode as well, because he's recommended me some cool stuff that I'm going to talk about in another episode. But listening to this Goth Babe, it reminded me that I needed to check out the new Caribou album titled Honey, which is another electronic artist. I got into Caribou with their last album, Suddenly, that I played the hell out of. And when I had guests over at the house, I'd be playing this, and I often get in the question, who is this? So it's Caribou, and so they make some really cool music, and the new album, Honey, is really fun. Yeah. So also, while I do spend a lot of time keeping up with the new releases, I do like to dive back into older classic music as well. I found myself going back to some Joni Mitchell albums. If you're not familiar, she's primarily folk singer, songwriter, guitarist who has a very jazzy style of singing. So I've been going back listening to her. I was listening to specifically the ones with Jaco Pastorius on bass, one of the greatest of all time. The albums Hejira and Mingus are the jazzier albums from Joni, and she's got Jaco on bass. I mean, it's really creative, cool stuff. So I was enjoying those albums as well as her most famous and classic album, Blue. That's a good Sunday morning one, whereas the other ones are a little more upbeat and jazzy and stuff. All amazing stuff. Joni Mitchell is wonderful. All right, so that about does it for the music portion. I will be back to review some recommendations and do some album reviews. Oh, before I stop, though, be on the lookout for a Laura Marling album review. Her new album, Patterns and Repeat, again, just came out with the most perfect timing. The album is an ode to motherhood, parenthood, and the circle of life, and just absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it literally had me sobbing on my patio listening to it the morning it came out. It was absolutely amazing. So I'm going to do a separate review of that because I think it deserves a little more explanation. But please, if you're into a very calm singer-songwriter album, especially for the mothers and fathers out there, yeah, check out Patterns and Repeat by Laura Marling. I actually sent it to a few people who I just thought would appreciate it. So anyways, that's it for me with music, but I'm going to give you a little bit of my stand-up comedy I've been watching. A lesser-known comedian named Mike Cannon had a great one. Executive produced by Chris DiStefano, who I always enjoy. This special was called Traumatized Animal. The special had a lot on him being a father and how he has some qualities he doesn't want his son to emulate. Relatable. And also the situations he is put in as a father. Again, gonna be relatable. And it will be for years relatable for me. But this was hilarious. I love this. Mike Cannon, Traumatized Animal. One of my favorites right now. I also love Greg Fitzsimmons, Live at the Comedy Mothership. Greg is a veteran in comedy and very underrated but very respected by comedians in the game. He touches on being married for decades and his interactions with his wife. I thought this was a great special and cool to see the Mothership being used for, I believe it's the third special taping. Brian Simpson did one and David Lucas also did one there. Both of those are hilarious as well. I watched Hassan Minhaj had a great energetic special with political and social commentary as well as some jokes about his children. His delivery is fabulous. He just, he's so expressive. He also addresses the controversy around him embellishing jokes in a hilarious way. I thought it was great. I thought it was a great way to address that and poke fun at himself as well. I had fun watching this one. Probably my favorite out right now is Adrian Appalucci, and I may be screwing that up. I think that's how you say it. I've screwed up saying other things in this podcast episode too. So, hey, that's the fun freestyle of podcasts is, I'm just doing all this in one take. So, yeah, I hope you enjoy it. But anyways, Adrian Appalucci, The Dark Queen on Netflix was so good and honestly could be my favorite of the year. Maybe. I don't know. I gotta look at my list, but so many jokes delivered just back to back. It's covering all kinds of topics. I mean, you can tell she is a true comedian. Like, she has been doing this for many years and is respected by all her peers. She's like a Dave Attell, and you can really tell with her how comfortable she is up there and the way she interacts with the crowd. This special was great. Just absolutely hilarious. Well, that wraps up my first episode of Lee's Listening. This is what I've been listening to. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Let me know if you checked out any of these albums or comedy that I talked about on here. If you liked them, if you hated them. I love a good music discussion, You can tell me that something that I really like sucked. I don't mind. Let's talk about it. So thank you for checking out Lee's Listening, and be on the lookout for another episode soon. Thank you.